Extensive infantry losses during the assault of Avdiivka had pushed the Kremlin to deploy elite special forces there. Good afternoon, and again is here at UATV English with more hard truth in easy terms for the whole free world directly from Ukraine. Units of the main intelligence director, GRU, of the General Staff of the Russian Armed Forces in what Ukraine's National Resistance Center, NRC, calls meat assaults, explains. Meat assaults because special forces were never meant to be used like that. Involving well-trained special forces personnel in combat operations on the ground meant they found themselves largely unprepared for what was happening there in Avdiivka. As RNAC puts it, the best Russian units actually partially lost their combat capabilities, the RNAC said. Russian elite units were met with active, well-prepared Ukrainian resistance, who defeated the Russian special forces. Defeated in easy terms means it was a meat grinder, no less. After that, our Army Commander-in-Chief General Syrsky commanded a fallback to a new front line. Russia claimed full control of Avdiivka after that, and the Kremlin congratulated its soldiers on that big gain. In easy terms, it is big indeed, actually. It was the biggest since May last year. The Russian Tsar congratulated his soldiers, never actually mentioning an important nuance. Our army inflicted huge losses on the enemy and destroyed a significant reserve of the Russian occupiers, which they planned to use in other areas along the front line, conducting offensive operations. Well, suit yourself. Take a look. During the full month of the active phase of the Avdiivka defense operation, from October 10th, 2023 to February 17th, 2024, the total losses of the Russian troop in Avdiivka direction amounted to personnel 47,186 people, tanks 364, artillery systems 248, armored combat vehicles 748, planes 5. If I'm not mistaken, the White House had warned the world that the city might fall to Russia due to, what was that? Oh yes, the weapons shortages exacerbated by months of Republican congressional opposition to a new US funding package for the Ukrainian military.
Avdiivka is at risk of falling into Russian control. In very large part, this is happening because the Ukrainian forces on the ground are running out of artillery ammunition. Russia is sending wave after wave of conscript forces to attack Ukrainian positions, and because Congress is yet to pass the supplemental bill, we've not been able to provide Ukraine with the artillery shells that they desperately need to disrupt these Russian assaults. Now, Russian forces are now reaching Ukrainian trenches actually in Avdiivka, and they're beginning to overwhelm Ukrainian defenses. The cost of inaction by the Congress is stark, and it's being borne on the shoulders of Ukrainian soldiers.
Indeed, sir. Just two short messages to finish the theme. First, General Syrsky said Avdiivka will be returned to Ukraine. And second, in total, Russia lost 400,000 lives in Ukraine. But who cares for Russian lives in Russia, right? France signs a security pact with Ukraine, pledging an additional military aid. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky signed a security pact with France in Paris on Friday, with Emmanuel Macron having earlier secured a similar deal with Germany, hailed by Chancellor Olaf Scholz as a historic step, anchoring support for Kiev in our raging battle against Russia. After touching down at Orly Airport south of the French capital, Zelensky traveled on to the Élysée Palace, where he met with President Emmanuel Macron to sign the accord. The French presidency said ahead of the meeting that the pacts would run for 10 years and include precise commitments from the French side, including financial pledges. The agreement includes a French aid pledge for €3 billion for 2024 after $1.7 billion in 2022 and $2 billion last year. It would strengthen cooperation in the area of artillery, the presidency said, without providing details. The deal is also to help pave the way towards Ukraine's future integration into the European Union and NATO, officials said. Olaf Scholz of Germany underlined that the German-Ukrainian Security Pact inked in Berlin last Friday illustrates the Germany will also not to let up Ukrainian supporting. He also announced a new package of immediate military support worth $1.2 billion is on the way.
Конкретно цій угоді з Німеччиною.
In this agreement with Germany, annual financial support for our defense, and for this year, it is determined more than 7 billion defense support. These are clear contracts, clear delivery. The agreement contains absolutely rational clauses regarding the responsibility of Russia and all Russian war crimes committed against Ukraine and the Ukrainian people. Every war crime of the occupier must be punished, and it is quite fair. The agreement also fundamentally defines position regarding sanctions against Russia. Russian assets that are frozen in various jurisdictions. Every such asset of the terrorist state must be confiscated and directed to protect against Russian aggression.
Well, it is lovely to see that all G7 nations flagged plans to provide Ukraine with long-term defense support. Finally, in neater terms, world support is mounting. The result? Well, please stay tuned for Frontline news on our channel very soon. Thank you so very much for watching. It was Enrique on the UATV studio, bringing the hard truth in easy terms as usual. And I hope you like what we do for you. If you really do, help us in return. Like, share, subscribe. Help us to deliver Ukrainian vision and voice worldwide and to make it be heard. And let us know what you think in the comments below. We appreciate that a lot. Stay safe and tune for more. See you tomorrow, folks.